1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hi, I'm on in Houston, and on today's video, I don't actually know what I want to talk about. I woke up this morning, and I guess I'll go into what I've been doing each morning and the new habits I've been developing. So, like I said in one of the previous videos, is that when I had to start over, I literally had nothing. And one of the big things that I looked at, that I analyzed within myself, is how did I get here? Well, I've always been a hard worker. I've always been somebody that didn't just make assumptions. That I would rather dive in, learn from firsthand, and be able to make assessments and alignments and optimizations from there. And it's something where I recognize that in the early days of starting my company, I had a different level of grind than I did in the middle days. And you know, I wouldn't even say that I'd gotten lazy or that I'd gotten plateaued, because you can probably ask anybody around me about my work habits and the way that I show up, and I'm always quite intense. Amber would probably be the best person to ask, and I'd be really curious. I'll have to interview her sometime and see what she thinks and what her experience was going through this entire process. At the same time, it's something where I really noticed and really just took a magnifying glass on myself to find out what changed. Because whenever I started, it was not like an easy process. It wasn't a fast process. I started learning marketing kind of at the end of 2015. I went through a $200 course with, I don't even remember who it was. I didn't like them so much. I didn't think that their attitude was very good. I thought they were kind of douchebags. At the same time, they knew how to market. They understood the Shopify thing. So I thought, okay, let's give this a go. At the same time, at that point, I had just transitioned from being homeless and broke, and at that point I was totally heartbroken, to actually building something. I stayed in this piece of shit apartment in downtown Dallas. It was like $400 a month, which, to put in perspective, this place here costs like 50% more than that. And I'm in Eastern Europe right now. So it's something where I was in a bad place. The place that I was at, and this was really, I found out the seed, like this was the motivation that pushed me to be so creative, so hardworking, so passionate, so disciplined. Because I just got myself out of living in my car, wandering from city to city, couch surfing with different friends that I had, to having my own place. It was an awful place, it was horrible, but it was my own place. And this place had roaches just crawling all over it. I mean, every single inch of this house, it was fucking disgusting. There was like 5 cats and a bunch of dogs, and they would shit and piss everywhere. The bathroom, like 60% of the time, would have shit on the floor in there, and just, it was awful. And I made it a point that I would never be in that position again. And this is beginning of 2015 or so. And so what I would do is, this was about a 45-minute drive away from where I worked at that point. And so I would drive the 45 minutes, and I would listen to audios, or I'd listen to audios I would learn while I commuted back and forth. And then while I was at work, I worked for a call center. And I had books about Facebook ads, and I'd be reading about it, learning about it. I didn't have any budget. I didn't have anything particular to be managing. I just wanted to consume as much information as I could. Then I got to a point where I felt confident enough to make my own site, and I would go, drive 45 minutes to work for that 8-9 hours, drive 45 minutes back, stop by the 7-Eleven where I knew I could buy a $5 pizza, and that pizza could last me about a day-ish if I rationed it out properly. And some water, because the water was also disgusting at this place. And ramen noodle soup. A lot of ramen noodles at that point. And I did this for probably a month, where at night when I got home, I would then stay up, watch videos on YouTube, read things on Facebook about how to be able to make a digital marketing business, and I created my own e-com store. I didn't actually make any money, but the confidence I developed after 3 months of doing this, and seeing that, wow, I can take something I knew nothing about, and with a lot of hustle. I mean, I grinded. I mean, anyone that knew me then knows, like, I didn't have a life. it worked. I did something that I wouldn't have thought was possible. And that stuck with me. I mean, I don't know, call it struggle PTSD. Like, it was only recently actually, but I still remember this and shudder. There was one microwave inside of this place, and of course I was broke, so I couldn't really go and buy my own. And there were roaches that were constantly crawling in and out of the wirings and shit of the microwave. And so anytime you warm something up, it would have a distinct flavor of cockroach. It was just awful. So pizza, roach pizza, ramen noodle. I remember one time there was a fucking roach that crawled into the microwave when I had the ramen noodles in there, and it exploded. And there was an aroma of ramen plus roach that every single time I ate ramen, just think of a microwaved cockroach mixed with ramen noodle soup, and that was to this day actually, had my phone playing at a low light setting. There was a video going on, I was listening to a Gary Vee speech, and I couldn't really see the movements because the brightness was really low down, and I literally jumped back because I thought there was 5 roaches on my phone, when in reality it was just a low light movement on there. Anyways, I say this because when I got out of there, I went and moved back with my mother. I decided that this is a terrible place to live. I started dating Amber at that point, so I was like, I was not proud of this. I'm like, this is terrible. This is no conditions for a man to be trying to build something else, and that it would be better to live on my mother's couch than it would to do that, because I knew I could get up and do something else, and I did. And that grind, that decision, that piece, going into Facebook ads and not listening to what other people were saying, not just trusting it and judging it like, oh, that doesn't work, you have to have money, you don't have enough time. None of that was true, because I started from scratch. Now, it still took me another 18 months, 15 months until I actually had my break in digital marketing. And I'll share those stories another time. I say this because one of the things that Gary Vee talks about that really opened my eyes recently is that you need to eat shit for 5 to 10 years. You need to grind. You need to say no to the bullshit that everybody else is doing. He talks about if you are an immigrant in the United States or you're a child of an immigrant, then you know what's up. And you know what? My mother immigrated from another country, and I realized how I grew up. I had it too. And whenever I analyzed my lifestyle, when I looked at what happened to cause to begin to fail, I realized that there was a point that I was no longer on that same grind. I was no longer on the same hustle. It wasn't that I wasn't willing to work hard. I was working very hard. What happened is that I began to trust information people were sharing instead of acting myself. So what would happen is someone that I respected would tell me something, and I would immediately turn around and do it without learning the back-end pieces of it. And maybe conceptually it would make sense, but I wouldn't manage it and learn it and understand it myself. And then when it came to delegation, I would delegate something, but I would delegate it and the quality would drop down 3 to 5 points. If it's a 10-point chart, 3 to 5, 30% to 50% drop in quality and consistency and increase in price. So when you compound that over a period of more than a year, then it doesn't matter how much money you're making is going to be lost. So in this period of time, I really focus on productivity. I focus on how can I become better as a person? How can I get back on my grind and also be efficient? Part of that is when I wake up in the morning, I have a tech cleanse time. It might be 30 minutes, it might be 1 hour. Quite frankly, it just depends on my day. But to have the intention and to fulfill it, that discipline, that I will not interact with my technology for 30 minutes to 1 hour. And in this time, it's really just a moment for me to be aware of what is the remnant subconscious thoughts that are still in my brain from when I was sleeping. To find if there's any messages, any signals, any knowledge or inspiration I can gain from that. Same thing at night. To be able to turn everything off, to literally turn the computer off, to turn the phone off, to be able to actually relax, to read a book, or to be able to, what I'll sometimes do is just go through my notes, review what I'm looking at. Sometimes I'll just meditate. Sometimes I will just lay, sit, stand in whatever's comfortable and just think. And I say this because something where when it comes to your productivity as an entrepreneur, when it comes to how does a person think, how does a person act, what separates those who are great, making billions of dollars and changing the world, and those who made $1 million and lost it. I realize it's their habits, it's the consistency, it's what they do on a daily basis. There's a phrase that I just love, it's been ringing through my ears for a while, and that was, Rome wasn't built in a day, but they were laying bricks every hour. And it just, something about that has really hit me, because I realized that focusing on my productivity, focused on my attention of where is it that I'm allowing my attention to go to, what is it that I'm not just doing from an action standpoint, because I was working real hard, but it wasn't enough. What is it that I'm doing, that I'm actioning, that's going to help me in the future? So now, some changes that I made, some adjustments that are actionable, that if you're an entrepreneur, then you can also follow, is I have begun recording myself constantly. Like I said, on this camera here, this is super uncomfortable for me. This is not natural for me, and I recognized that I must get comfortable in front of a camera, creating video content, articulating my thoughts in a way that might actually interest another person. Because that's the future we're moving into. In a globally connected world where across multiple platforms we're able to judge, to assess, to find the people that we want to work with, need to connect with, and the way that we assess that, the way we judge that, is social media. So when someone is interested, if someone says, hey, I need a guy that does blank, and then someone's like, oh, I know a guy that does that, what do? You go to Google, you go to Facebook, you look them up, and if they have something like a YouTube channel, well, now you can get to know them real well. If they've got an Instagram, you can go through there and see what it is that they're talking about, what are they doing. Look at their Instagram Live, their Snapchat, Facebook Live. See how they are. And we judge a person based off of this. So I realized it's really important, and this was Gary Vee that really twisted that knife for me. Because I didn't do any social media posting. I made over $1 million from social media and I might have posted 2 things, maybe 3 things on Instagram the entire time. Maybe like 5 posts on Facebook and 4 of them were just articles I was sharing. Like, I didn't touch it at all. It was one of the biggest mistakes that I made. And so now, to be able to stand in front of the camera, having no idea what I'm going to talk about, and to practice, getting more comfortable, getting more accustomed to being able to deliver content. I want to continue expanding. This way I'm starting the YouTube, and it's going to be a daily thing. There's no way that I cannot come up with something to talk about every single day. And then as the days and weeks go by, I'm going to continue to add on more. And I'm going to assess myself, judge my productivity, not just based off of how long am I working, but what am I getting done. Another piece that I'm doing, that included with, guys, whatever it takes to get comfortable sharing on social media, do that. The thing that changed, the shift for me, was I realized no one gives a fuck what it is I put, because they're going to have their judgments anyways. They're going to believe what they're going to believe. Therefore, I should make my social based off what I want to see, what I think it should be, what I find to be valuable. Because the fact is, then I'm going to grow into that. I'm going to become better at executing that. So in this case here, I realize my videos are terrible. Again, I'm not wearing a shirt. That's not normal for YouTubers. I'm doing this because I want myself to be authentic and genuine when it comes to my videos. And anyone who knows me know that the authentic me doesn't wear a damn shirt. I hate wearing a shirt. Either I'm wearing a shirt or I'm wearing a suit. I love wearing suits as well. At the same time, it's not as practical when I'm broke and I don't get out of the house very much to put on a full damn suit every single day, because that costs money for dry cleaning. So it's something where instead I wear athletic pants and no shirt, and I grind all day and all night. The second piece that I would want to share with entrepreneurs is to, when delegating tasks, do the task yourself first and record yourself. Even if the video is not sexy, not efficient, it's not super articulate or broken down into steps or anything, just turn on a recorder on your computer and record yourself doing it. Even if it's a 4-hour-long task, get it on recording. The reason is that, one, this makes it to where then if you have questions, you can look back at your own process. And you're going to learn something by watching it, because you'll see things that you missed or assumptions that you made that you look into and realize either you were wrong or that you can be doing better. 2, duplication. Now when you have someone else do something, they have something specific and quantifiable to be held accountable to, which means there cannot be any drop-off in what it is that you're doing because they can physically see you doing it live. 3, precedence, a habit. It makes it to where then you're constantly challenging and assessing yourself and what you're doing. Is there a better way, a faster way, which is going to increase your level of expansion? 2, it's going to make it to where you can have your team making content of how to be able to scale, how to be able to perform tasks. You set the precedence within your company that makes it to where when you hire somebody, don't just hire them to do a thing. Make them put together videos, and even if their English isn't so good, even if they are speaking another language, if they're doing a task in your company, the fact is you need them to be recording what they're doing so that way it's hitting within your company archive somewhere for you to reference later. Had I done that, would not have failed because I would have been able to see what workload people were getting out there, how they were doing what they were doing, and a simple review of what my team was putting together, I'd be able to find out how fast are people going. Is there a way we can optimize and improve upon this? What exactly they're doing, what level of quality, what degree of sophistication are they doing the things? Does it match what the customers are buying? And I would have also been able to expand more affordably. Because I would have seen that I'm spending tens of thousands of dollars a month, at one point a week, off of stuff that could have easily been done for about 1/10 to 1/4 of the price. So I hope this video was helpful. This is actually not at all what I intended to talk about. At the same time, that's kind of the point of these morning motivations, is just to share, just to connect, and just to be able to release whatever might be going on so I can add value to friends, family, and the future. So if you've been watching this video and you gain value from it, please leave your opinions in the comments. If you see room for improvement, things I can adjust, things I can change, things that you might be interested in, again, please connect with me and share it. I'm looking to learn. Thank you again for watching. I'm Anand Houston, and until next time, bye for now.